Here's the travel guide for the H2O resort in the Turks and Caicos. Here I am in the stunning Turks and Caicos. It's been an absolutely unbelievable trip, this one. You can see the resort just behind me there, and if we look around, you can see the incredible turquoise lagoon that is the beach at Long Bay. So this lagoon is absolutely unbelievable. I haven't seen anything like it in all of my travels. It's about waist deep all the way for about 2 or 3 kilometers out to sea. I haven't even found the edge of it yet, and I've been kiting and e-foiling and ripping around here trying to find the limits, but I can't. And this lagoon doesn't get very busy either. A lot of places when you go kiting, there's loads of kiters there, but it feels like the Turks and Caicos is relatively undiscovered at the moment. And this is what makes it such a primo destination for kiteboarding. So the resort that you can see behind me here, it's called H2O Life Stye Resort. It's an incredible facility. It was purpose built as a kite surfing lifestyle resort by Rob, who's lived on the island for 22 years. It was actually finished in 2020, so it's only been open for 3 years, and it is stunning inside. I'll show you some of the clips of the accommodation and the rooms, but it has been finished to an exceptionally high standard and one that won't disappoint the most discerning of kiteboarding travellers. It's what they call a condo hotel, where basically people have bought and own the rooms, but then they rent them out when they're not available. So anybody can come here and anyone can enjoy these incredible facilities that they've built. Now, Rob didn't miss a trick when he set the place up. When you come here, you've got an amazing shop which is stocked full of all the latest equipment and some clothes and board shorts and sunglasses, anything you might have forgotten on your holidays. There's also a huge rental fleet for gear. They've got all the latest equipment from Cabrina, and they've partnered with that brand, and the gear is in pristine condition. And we're coming here at kind of the end of the season, so they'll be about to change over to the new 2024 equipment, but the equipment is being really well looked after, so there's no need to bring any gear with you. You can, of course, bring your own gear, and they have lockers and facilities for you to be able to lock your gear up when you're not using it, and lots of people do that. But if you're looking to just jump on a plane with a bag and your harness, then this is definitely one of the best places I've seen to come to. The equipment is in absolutely A1 condition. They've got everything from wing foiling, kite foiling, e-foiling, twin tips, a couple of surfboards and kites to use, and wings of course as well. So whatever your poison, you're going to be able to get plenty of time on the water. They've also got, you can probably see behind me, a couple of masts there. They've got some Hobie cats which are free to use as well, and paddle boards which you can take out whenever you want. So even when there's no wind, there's always something to do. So what's the kiteboarding like here at H2O and in the Turks and Caicos? Well, I've mentioned that lagoon, and that is something else. It's absolutely stunning. Easily one of the best places I've seen that you can go kiteboarding. Second to that, you've got reasonable winds. We've had kind of light winds on this trip, but it gets up to around 20-25 knots, and they sometimes get stormier conditions when it can get up to around 40 knots as well. Best times of year to come, avoid September and October. That's the sort of down part of the season, but the rest of the season is really long. 10 months you can come here and get really good conditions. So it's worth considering if you're in the summer and you fancy a bit of a Caribbean getaway and some amazing kiteboarding. This could be a #1 spot to come to. Who's it going to suit? Well, if you're a beginner, you can't get much better. If you want to learn to kiteboard, I don't think I've seen a better place in all my years of traveling around the world. Also, if you're an intermediate, you're learning, you're progressing, the water's reasonably flat, it's not busy, it's shallow, you can practice your tricks, and if you fall in, you can easily just get back up and get riding again. If you're into freestyle, you're a little bit more advanced, then you're going to love it here. Not only can you kite in Long Bay, but they'll also run boat trips to some of the other destinations, and I'll show you some of the footage from there. We rode at a place called Half Moon Bay, and it was dead flat with a big spit, absolutely ideal for freestyle. So that's the kind of place that you're coming to. There are waves on the island. If you go to the north side, we're facing south at the moment, but if you go over to the north side, you can get some wave conditions, and the team here at H2O often run excursions to do that. But I would think of it more as a beginner, intermediate, freestyle heaven. That's what you're looking for here. Especially if you just want to come, walk out your hotel room, take a couple of steps and be on the water. You can find waves. I've been here before and searched and found some of the most amazing waves on the planet, but it is a little fickle and you do have to put a little bit of effort in to find them. So if you want to just come to the resort and enjoy the conditions, Think beginner, intermediate, advanced freestyle, you're going to have an absolute blast. The team here are fantastic as well. The instructors are really experienced and they'll happily teach you. So if you've got partners or loved ones or you want to come and learn yourself, book in for some lessons. They've got fantastic equipment and one of the best places to teach you. If you can't learn to kite surf here in the Turks and Caicos, I don't think you'll be able to learn to kite surf anywhere, and that's saying something. So what to expect from the hotel? As I mentioned earlier, it's exceedingly high end. It's finished to an incredible standard. They've got a variety of rooms from studios to suites, and most of the rooms have got kitchens that are fully equipped. They don't have a restaurant here, but they do offer a continental breakfast, which if you're from Europe is plenty. Perhaps if you're from the US, you might want to stock up on a few little extras, but I found it perfectly adequate to load up on some croissants, a few pastries, a bit of toast, some fruit, and set me up for the day. If you're bringing non-kiters, don't worry, they've got 2 amazing swimming pools and 1 gigantic jacuzzi and also a hot tub. So there's plenty of things to do, swimming, splashing around in the lagoon. You can even go sailing on a Hobie Cat or play on some paddle boards. There's lots of other things to do here if you don't want to kite surf. So traveling here, if you're coming from Europe, it's a little bit of a long haul flight. So we took 9.5 hours to get here. It was direct. There's a new Virgin flight leaving from Heathrow that goes on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and it flies straight here first. So that's not too bad at all. Obviously, if you're coming from Germany or Netherlands or further afield, you'll need to get to London first. So it is a little bit of a trip. So perhaps consider coming for a couple of weeks rather than just the one, because you are going to spend a couple of days traveling to get here. A lot of the guests that come here are from Canada and North America. Obviously there are loads of flights connecting those places to this spot. So it's very easy to travel here if you're from the US or from Canada. It's just a 4 or 5 hour flight, and then some cases it's down to an hour and a half because Miami's really close by. So if you are bringing your own kit, I would recommend bringing bigger kites and perhaps a hydrofoil. The hydrofoil in here is insane. It's really, really good. If you are keen to hydrofoil, have a little look at the tide forecast. It is tidal here. It's a standard 6-hour tide, so you get high tides and low tides throughout the day. But on the springs, so when the tide is at its strongest, you tend to find that at low tide, there isn't quite enough water to foil unless you've got a really short mast, or it's a little bit risky. At high tide, it's absolutely fine. So if you are coming here to foil, think about coming during the neap tides, and you can foil all day long, right the way through the tide. If you are going to bring your own equipment here, it's definitely worth checking the forecast before you come. That way you'll know to bring the right size kites. We've been riding 15s, 13s, 12-metre kites whilst we've been here. The forecast wasn't great, but we have had wind most days. On the days when there wasn't any wind, got to take the catamarans out, got to play on the e-foils, and we still had loads of fun. So they've got a bar here at the H2O Resort that serves drinks, all kinds of drinks, whatever you want, but they don't have a restaurant. That's worth mentioning. There are plenty of restaurants on the island and they're not far away. A short walk down the beach for 10 minutes and you get to the Shore Club, which is absolutely stunning, and that has a couple of restaurants serving all sorts of amazing food during the day. If you rent a car and you want to get a little bit further afield, you can go to Grace Bay, which has got loads of restaurant options. That's kind of a little bit more built up. And there's also the incredible Conch Shack, which is well worth going to over in Blue Hills area of the island. You go there, sample the amazing conch, which is the local food, and it is absolutely delicious. I highly recommend you do that if you come here on your trip. Nightlife here is kind of chilled. Don't come expecting wild parties. Seems to be more relaxed. A couple of drinks by the bar, set yourself up for kiteboarding the next day, which suited me down to the ground. One thing you will be pleased to hear, even though we're really remote out in the Turks and Caicos, which is kind of a little collection of islands in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, or Caribbean Sea as we are at the moment, but it's way out in the middle of nowhere, and the internet is spectacular. So they've got Wi-Fi in all of the rooms and in the beach areas, and it works really well. There's also a good mobile phone network. If you buy a SIM card, you can connect to that really easily. So you'll be able to stay connected even though you're way out on a limb in the middle of paradise. So for food, what we did, we went to the grocery store on the first day, stocked up on some supplies, and then we've been cooking meals. They've got barbecues here that you can use, cooking in the kitchen, making sandwiches, things like that. It's been absolutely fantastic. There's loads of great food on the island as well. The fruit and veg is fantastic. The fish and seafood is unbelievable, so I highly recommend that. Speak to the staff here, they can recommend some good restaurants for you to check out as well, so you definitely won't be going hungry. So whenever I think of kiting here, I'm always going to think of that lagoon. It is absolutely unbelievable. You can see here, as far as the eye can see, it's still turquoise and still shallow. So that is the absolute jewel in the crown of this place. If you want to kite surf in swimming pool water, as you can see from some of these clips, this is the place to come. I guarantee you that if you come to the H2O Lifestyle Resort, you're going to have the most amazing time. We've really enjoyed our stay here. The guys have really looked after us. I'm sure they'll look after you too. The kiteboarding has been out of this world, truly magical, and something I won't forget in a hurry. If you want to get involved, check out the links in this video. You can book online and you can come and do this all for yourself.